How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I am your host, FaZe Crypto. Today we have a multitude of topics to discuss. Bitcoin currently clocking in at 9,868, and we are Bitcoin sort of struggling to break that 10K, and it is a bit concerning to, I would say, the bulls with that sort of resistance right there, because if right now this is a critical level. If Bitcoin gets rejected at that 9,800 sort of level, I'd easily see the bears taking control again, and we would probably see Bitcoin trading in the mid 8,000s within that time frame. So right now sort of is a critical point, but I'm not going to really talk about Bitcoin right now. What I want to talk about is Cardano, and of course the greater cryptocurrency space in general. Now, of course, I'm not going to sit here and bash Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's come into its own quite swimmingly in the past couple of months, where we've been seeing more and more people talking about it, and it has been a great amount of attention going into the space. And I think that it is interesting to see how the bullish sentiment is still waiting under the surface for people to sort of jump on the bandwagon. And we've got Coinbase says Bitcoin will become closer to digital gold in 93 days, with Bitcoin's in May having an event drawing even closer. Coinbase recently took to pushing the Bitcoin as digital gold narrative in a tweet storm to promote of course, a blog post published on February 7th that covered the key reasons why the halving, and subsequently, it is interesting. Of course, talks about scarcity, creates value, halving increases scarcity, and many other, bullet points that people talk about when they're making an argument in favor of Bitcoin. And I have this, in the second half of this video, we'll be talking about Cardano. So if you're not interested in Bitcoin talk, just skip to the basically the second half of the video. But I wanted to talk about, do you have any concerns of a nation state attack on Bitcoin? And this sort of, I think, is a good place to set us up in our conversation about the strength of Bitcoin. And I want to hear your opinions on this. So make sure that you guys comment down below, letting us know what you actually think about this right here. So we're going to play this clip, and then we'll get right back into the news.
Just a quick follow-up on that. Do you have any concerns about a large nation state that has interest in just actively destroying Bitcoin to make their own, super rigs and design chips and just throw hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to intentionally disrupt the blockchain?
Yeah, I don't worry about that at all. This cannot be done with Bitcoin anymore. This is something that can only be done with nascent altcoins. Bitcoin has achieved a level of computing that no single nation state can overthrow it through computation alone. The effort to do so would require a massive covert operation of chip fabrication, then the coordinated assault that would give them dominance over the next block for 10 minutes until we kick those bastards off the network, rework the protocol around them. They would be revealed. They would have lost $1 billion doing this, and all they got to do was one double spend. Now, here's the thing. Long before we get to that point, they figure out that if they just let this stuff run, they can actually get some Bitcoin as a reward, because the incentive structure actually works. And so I'm not worried about that. And a lot of people are watching the blockchain. And as I said before, what are they going to do? So they take over and they fork the blockchain and they go somewhere, right? They've created an alternative blockchain. Great. What are we going to do? Who's going to join the NSA blockchain? Anybody want to jump on FedCoin? So we're all going to stay on the old fork. Difficulty will go down. It will get more profitable for the miners who stayed behind, and we'll carry on with our coin, and they can go mine whatever the hell they want on their alternative blockchain. They achieve nothing. They can't make protocol changes because we, as I said, 5 constituencies in consensus, and it would take $1 billion to pull the most ridiculous Keystone Cops failure in history. Plus, this would actually require government that can do IT.
So whether or not you actually agree with the underlying of that talk, it remains to be seen. However, it is an interesting perspective on the strength that we've been seeing Bitcoin gearing up for, then in particular what we can expect to see from blockchain. So nonetheless, I think it is an interesting contribution to our discussion, and it was something that I felt was worth the 2-minute platform on my channel to discuss and have that on there. So that's why I showed you guys that. And of course, moving on to Cardano news, we've got Cardano Shelley ITN records over 1,000 reg pools, 11.3 billion ADA stacked. So the Cardano ecosystem has been focused on maintaining and enhancing the Shelley incentivized testnet. The progress made in terms of the ITN has been substantial. Your communications director at IOHK, Tim Harrison, recently compiled the latest ITN stats, revealing that Cardano has reached 1,046 number of registered stake pools, out of which 87.2% are registered by the Cardano Foundation. Additionally, with 672 active state pools, the communications director claimed that 11.35 billion ADA is being stacked on the testnet. Harrison noted the many improvements to performance have resulted in an increase in uptime, but there's still a way to go. We are not resting on our laurels even for a minute, and efforts to improve stability and performance are ongoing. Still, the progress to date is a remarkable testament to the commitment of our incredible Cardano community, which grows in numbers and passion every day. And I'm happy to be a part of the Cardano community. In part making this video and just talking about the different things that are happening. I think the testnet is important to discuss, and keep up to date with the news on that, which we will continue to do in future videos. So here, what Trading Ledger Peter Brandt has to say about Cardano ADA. This I think is pretty interesting as well. He puts out a few interesting tweets, ADA has so far had an amazing start of the year after Cardano successfully launched Shelley's testnet in December. It has so far pumped by more than 95% in 2020, significantly outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum. And its massive rally is unlikely to stop here. Crypto trader Mike and Pope, recently predicted that ADA could pump the hardest among the top altcoins, which is sort of a similar sentiment to what we were talking about. I think that when it comes down to it, we really need to have the conversation about the logical progression of how blockchain has a place in society, which of course Bitcoin, we talked about the concept of digital gold, and then Ethereum building upon that with smart contracts, and of course the Cardano ecosystem that we see building out right in front of us is something that is important to talk about. And so we could definitely have some real potential there. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed just listening to our perspective here. Remember, I'm not your dad. However, this video is not financial advice. Of course, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Watching very closely to see what happens with Bitcoin in the next couple of in the next 24 hours, next 48 hours. We are in a very deciding moment with what could happen with Bitcoin. This is interesting. Just final closing statement why Bitcoin halving might be bearish. Bitcoin is no doubt at the most important point in history. This is not just about the current cycle. We can see on the weekly chart. It is interesting. I mean, you guys could go check out this article for yourself. I guess I'm on the fence. I'm just waiting to see what happens like anybody else. But all that being said, make sure that you guys comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.